Greetings, ghoulies. I'm Serena and welcome to my Hall of Horrors. Today, I present to you another horror book haul. As I stated in my last video, I've gotten back into reading physically, which has been really nice. Because of this, I've been consistently stocking up on new books to consume. My taste in literature has changed a bit since the last time I was reading this consistently, so I needed to stock up on new stories. I'm the type of reader that likes to have a variety of books to choose from. These books here are both from Indigo as well as online. The online books just came in this afternoon, so I figured I would combine the two to make one big haul. I will insert separate clips of the covers as well as the synopsis of every book because you can't really see them too well. Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. This is kind of like a cursed, lost film sort of thing. You can read the synopsis, but it's really cool, and I actually read another Paul Tremblay book this past summer. It's called Another, and I believe it's like a middle grade book. It was amazing. It took me 3 months to finish because I wasn't as actively reading as I am again now. That was probably the first book in a long time that I read physically because I've been using audiobooks for some time. And even though it took 3 months to finish, I was still proud of myself for doing it. That's how intriguing it was to me. For being a middle grade book, it was still pretty scary, so I'm intrigued to see what an adult horror book of his would be like. This copy has sprayed edges too, which is really nice. There was 2 different versions at Indigo. There was one that was slightly taller and it had like those rough edges. I don't remember what they're called, but they were like jagged. And then there was this one that had the sprayed edges that looked like a film reel. This one was the one I wanted anyway, but it was like $1 cheaper, so obviously win-win. Next, we have Widow's Point by Richard Chizmar, which is a hardcover. This thing was $41. Oh my ghoul! But we're supporting bookstores. Supporting bookstores. I've seen this many times on Bookstagram being compared to the Blair Witch Project, and as a big fan of the Blair Witch Project, I was sold. And for how much I paid for this thing, I really hope it's good, because I'll be really upset. Many years ago, there was a tragic accident at this lighthouse, and it was shut down from the world for decades, but this film crew goes to investigate, and horrors ensue. I think the found footage format makes for a really interesting concept for books. I read/listened to episode 13 by Craig DeLuey last year, and it was incredible. It's also kind of found footage, paranormal investigators. The audiobook really elevated the reading experience, actually. Every character had a different voice actor. There was like music and creepy noises. It was like really intriguing. So if this is anything like that, then I'm gonna really like this, I think. And I hear that it's really scary, and I want to read books that will like genuinely scare me, so I guess we'll see. Next we have Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. I have known about this book since January, and what I usually do is I take pictures of books that kind of catch my attention when I'm at Indigo, and I go home and I research them, and if they seem like something I'm into, I'll buy them next time I'm there. The cover art really caught my eye, and then the story itself seemed really cool. This woman's husband has passed away, and she's kind of been dealing with the grief of that, and sometime later, her friends invite her to this kind of retreat thing, and she tags along, but what they don't know is there's a mysterious killer picking off the residents at this place, so horror ensues. And as a fan of slashers, naturally I was intrigued. I recently started following this author on Instagram, and they seem like a really cool person. And upon looking at their other books available, I was gagged to realize that the other books they've written are books that I've had in my want list for some time, and I had no idea. All their books sound interesting to me, so if this one is any good, then I will definitely be checking the others out. Next, we have Hell House by Richard Matheson, which is actually quite an old book. This is obviously a modern cover, but this book was originally released in 1971. And being 50 plus years old, I have seen some people say that some aspects of this book have not aged well. I'm not sure what they're referring to, obviously I haven't read it, but I've also seen plenty of people say this book is like genuinely scary, so I'm really intrigued to see what both sides are talking about. It's a haunted house story, as you can imagine, paranormal investigation, stuff like that. It's set in the 70s, obviously being written in the 70s, and I do love books set in the past, so This looks really interesting to me. So in my last haul video, which being my first video on this channel, I had got Frankie Graves Part 1 by Cameron Rubik, and in that video I also mentioned that I wanted to get the sequels to Kill River from that author, but the Kill River books are out of print, tragically. So I had emailed Cameron Rubik. I still have not heard back from him. It looks like I'm never going to get those books, unfortunately, but I figured I am going to just buy up the rest of the books he has available in case they too go out of print. So I have been doing that, and the only book of his that I have left to buy is Frankie Graves Part 2. Part 1 might be my next read. This time I have Gulf Curse. All his books kind of have that 80s B-movie slasher kind of feel to them, very campy, but also very scary. I'm pretty sure this is kind of playing on the whole Indian burial ground trope in horror movies. So it's set in a golf course, obviously, and then like an undead chief comes back from the dead and kind of takes revenge for all the people that have wronged him and his people in the past. So although I may never read Kill River 2 or 3, I'm at least glad to have this beauty right here. The first book in a brand new series called Bumps in the Night we have In the Mall of Madness by A.D. Arrow, who we actually follow each other on Instagram. They seem really cool and I like their vibe. They've recently started a series of books called Bumps in the Night, which is kind of a throwback to vintage middle grade books of the 90s. The obvious reference would probably be Goosebumps, but to me the covers and the designs look more reminiscent of Ghosts of Fear Street, but it's very much in that vein. This is about a girl who lives in a boring town and suddenly a mall appears, which is like the first exciting thing that's ever happened in her town, but it's not what it seems. There's currently 3 other books in this series and the author is working on more books, and if this is any good I definitely will be looking into them. I'm sure it will be. Definitely seems up my alley. Last but not least we have Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell, which I've heard great things about. This is about a couple that go up into a cabin for a romantic getaway, but there's something out there stalking them and it replicates the voices of others. I'm pretty sure the creature in the story is a mimic. That definitely sold me right away. I think mimics and skinwalkers and stuff like that is really creepy. I've been a consumer of horror for a very long time, so it really takes a lot to genuinely scare me. When I binged a bunch of chapters of the Mandela Catalog, I genuinely had trouble sleeping, and that does not happen to me ever. I didn't want the door open because I didn't want to see what was potentially hiding in the shadows, but I didn't want the door closed either because of what would be there if I opened it. Like, I was literally like a child. So mimics are a really creepy concept in horror, and I trust that this will be effectively scary. Thank you all very much for watching. Tell me in the comments which book looks the most interesting to you. I can't wait to dive into each and every one of these. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and become a ghoulie today if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, my children of the night, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.